Yo, yo, yo. Good Sunday afternoon. I was fucking around with a toothpick. Good afternoon. Not picking my teeth, though. That's disgusting. Not that it's disgusting, that you need to do it, but I just wasn't doing it right now. But what's up, guys? What the fuck is up? This is completely random as normal. I feel like this is a more random show, like Sunday afternoon, 3:45, 3:55-ish, whatever time I actually pop on here. Make sure I can hear myself. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. What's up, everyone? Yeah, obviously the title displays what we are going to chat about. And to be honest with you guys, I was expecting the ticket prices to be much worse. Especially from what I saw going to WrestleMania 40, looking at it last year, and them doubling down again this year for Vegas. I was expecting it to be way worse. I think they had to have dropped some prices. So we'll get into that. I have it pulled up. Went to Ticketmaster because Allegiant Stadium sent out a tweet on Friday regarding a sale that was going on. So I was like, check it out and see. But yeah, so we'll chat about that and talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, you guys might have heard of that guy. And the possibility of him being at WrestleMania 40 too. We know that he will be there for the. Do they still call it fan access or what? I should know. I fucking went to it 2 years ago, whatever it's been now. What the hell is it? Fan access? I think it is. Whatever the hell that shit is. You know, you guys know what I mean. The meet and greets and all that. Which again, WWE is a lot of things, but the amount of effort that they put into, I think it's still access, like the general, I think it's called access, whatever. But the general store that people can go to, I think that's pretty much the only thing. And when they were here in Tampa, they had a superstore set up. Anyone from the public could go to the store, no ticket needed. It was, I think, across the street from the stadium or not far from the stadium. Obviously, for the show, you need a ticket itself, but it was pretty cool though. I didn't really think it was that, because at first I was like, well, if you aren't going to the pay-per-view, the PLE, the big show, like why would you really care to go to the superstore? Because to me, I like my FOMO would already be, on like peaking a little bit. But dude, if it's in my radar and then or my area, but then dude, if I have to go to the store, see all the cool merch and all the the shirts that they print out with the match card and everything like that. That I was there, it would kill me, man. My FOMO would peak. So yeah. Then I chatted with my friend Dan, and he's one of those people. And it made sense when he explained it. He was like, I don't know if he's doing it this year. I think he actually is. But last year he lives in New York. He traveled to Las Vegas just for I think 2 days. Whatever days, maybe it was a Thursday, Friday, or the Friday, Saturday. I actually think it was the Friday, Saturday because he mentioned that he was going to be home in time to watch it live. So I think that's what it was. Because he's a huge Bailey fan. He went to her meet and greet and just hung out at the access area, and went to the different booths and stuff like that. So it's a really fun time. Again, talk a lot of shit about WWE for certain things, which I'm sure I will at some point here today. But the work that they put into those fanfare things, I don't know, man. It's so cool, and it's like a convention, It's just fun to be there with like-minded people to put all the bullshit that's happening in the real world, politics, what side are you on? It doesn't like no one cares. Like I know maybe nowadays since things are getting more and more heated, but each time I've gone to a wrestling show, dude, or like one of those, like I was just talking about, like the fan event things, that they set up beforehand, no one is talking. It's like no, I'm not gonna say it's no negativity, but it's not like, oh, like, wait, what side are you on before I can like talk wrestling with you? Nah, it's just we're just here to talk shit, have fun with wrestling, and just kind of escape. You know what I mean? And the access, I'm just gonna call it access, that they had for Philadelphia fucking incredible, man. The setup that they have for Bray Wyatt and it was a fire. Had like different like rooms. One was the Firefly Funhouse. One was just like this like gloomy area. Actually reminiscent of the um, oh my gosh, like the plants that they had set up for his entrance when he returned, and the rocking chair setup and all that stuff. So it was really cool. I think I posted it. If not, I'll go back and find those videos and maybe eventually post them on the channel. But it's just cool, man. Now, granted, you had to pay like $70 to get in, but that covered the. I think it covered the entire. I could be wrong. No, I think the $70 when I went was just for that one day. But yeah, it's still dope though. It's still dope. Hell yeah, Sai, what up, man? I mean, post a link, man. I'll highlight the comment and put it on the screen here so we can share that link. You know what I mean? What up, dude? What up, what up? What up, Fernando? You said WWE struggling to sell Mania tickets is karma. They deserve this lower tickets, or go fuck yourself, just like Ice. Yeah, dude. It's actually funny that well, not funny, but it's actually a pretty good segue that you mentioned good old Ice, because I'm just gonna be, before we get into like more of the tickets and the topics at hand here today, it's been quite the week, y'all. It's been quite the week. Not even for people, just people here in the US, because certain things just not only find a way to spread across the world, but other countries are affected as well, obviously. Between obviously the Epstein list, the ICE issue that we're having here in the US. I mean, the whole left versus right thing has always been around, but it just seems to get more and more escalated lately. And it's just kind of mind-blowing to me. This obviously isn't a channel for all that stuff, so I'm not going to dedicate too much time to it. But first of all, to be honest with you guys, I kind of need to get it off my chest. And second of all, it does make me sad, and I think indirectly it does end up affecting us as wrestling fans, because we're humans. You know what I mean? And for us to be able to come together, we need to be safe. You know what I mean? And I don't want any of, anyone from here, for instance, in our little wrestling community here, to ever have to be concerned or fear going to their car, or fear going to work, or fear just walking down the street. You know what I mean? And I am not, I guess, informed enough to know the full ins and outs on how difficult it is to become a legal citizen. I know it takes a shit ton of time. And obviously there's legal and proper ways to go about everything. But dude, like, what we're doing, we just lost who we are as humans, and just humanity is just losing its moral compass in a way. And it's just it's concerning to me, because we have people who are supposed to be the top of the top for our country, right? I'll just speak for America, because at least other countries, inside, please throw in your, if you want, no pressure there. Other countries have taken a stand. Maybe, they could have done more, but for instance, Prince Andrew, like, there have been ramifications for him and people across the world. Other billionaires and CEOs have stepped down. Either they've been forced to step down or they just have. And no one is doing that here in the US. No one is really doing that here. And that just, in my opinion, highlights the bigger problem, which is the cover-up. And to me, I don't know why. So when they had their congressional hearing, I forget what day it was this past week. But when I've been more and more, or trying to be more and more involved and just be more informed, because I've been questioning a lot of my beliefs and a lot of like what side are you on and stuff like that. And I just am not, I'm not on a side period right now is what I feel like. I just feel like I'm just kind of floating out there in between and just like just here, you know what I mean? But if one of our leaders cannot be asked a question without raging out and just lashing out and just yelling and name calling and throwing insults and just trying to change the subject, it's like that's what you do either A, when you're a child and you know that you did something wrong and you've been caught and you want to deflect, or B, like you have a guilty conscience and you just want to highlight the other person and you want to highlight all their faults for whatever reason. Not saying there's a fault to be shared and to go around, but an issue like the Epstein files, y'all, like I first of all it's a to me it shouldn't be a political issue, period. And again, I don't really care what side anyone sits on because to each their own. And again, like I agree and disagree with certain things on both sides, to be honest with you guys. um but to see Pam Bondi, our attorney general here in the US, just fucking lose her mind, dude. Like her role, her title, her position, all that to the side. um you know, you're it's not like when you take a certain power and a certain position of power, you I don't know why it may have come as a surprise, but you're going to be called out and you're going to have to answer to certain decisions that you make. And look, if you aren't quick for the job, if you don't want to be involved for whatever reason, resign, step down. I don't know. But all that to the side, and I don't know, maybe this shouldn't be a factor or whatever, but to me, y'all just what so I forget which representative it was, but a couple of them did it because the Epstein survivors were some of them were behind in like the seats behind, I guess in like the viewing area. They were sitting almost directly behind Pam Bondi. And like I said, one of the congressional women asked them to stand, and a gentleman did too. I just forget who exactly they were because I just didn't write it down. But the woman asked them to stand and asked Pam Bondi just to apologize for what they've gone through, you know, and for our DOJ not being accountable and not doing what they should and redacting things that they should not have, releasing the survivors' personal info when they should not have, but yet all these men are still blacked out. It's just very fascinating to me, especially when you go on a page when there's one redaction at the top, but then all the other personal information for the survivors are listed at the bottom. So it's like clearly you're on that page, but whatever, right? It's no big deal. So the fact that Pam Bondi, dude, as a human being and as a woman, just couldn't turn around and even make eye contact with him and couldn't even just on a human level just say, even without taking accountability for anything or fault for anything, just say, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I'm deeply sorry for what you went through. No human deserves to go through what those women went through. And I don't know. I just don't know why that is so hard. You can apologize for what someone went through without taking fault for it. Like if that's such a, you know, like legality reasons and shit. Like I whatever. But you can't even just apologize. Like, hey, words can't describe like how deeply sorry I am for what you went through. You know. And if our government had any part in it, we will do what we can. You know what I mean? Just something. So I don't know. But I bring all that up because it has been just clogging my feed because I've just been kind of obsessed with it. I've fallen down many rabbit holes this past. I mean, like I said, I've been looking into this stuff beforehand, but that hearing, man, that hearing just really was mind blowing to me. I was just like, I could never imagine. First of all, just like in my regular life, I've never reacted like that to anyone. Or I take that back. I did scream at one person one time. And that was how old was I? I think I was 18. Um, yeah. I screamed, lost my head. But yeah, and then after that, when I went back into my room after that, I was like, I'm never going to be that person ever again, and I've never lost my cool like that. So the fact that she just completely lost her mind, right? Just exploded for, I think it was like a 4 hour, 4.5 hours hearing, and the fact that she's like not, her job isn't in jeopardy, it's just like baffling to me. Like if I would have lost my mind, or if I lose my mind like that at work, or hell, maybe even in public, depending on how bad it gets, I would get in trouble. I would be reprimanded. At work, I would potentially be fired. You know what I mean? If I made that big of a scene. So it's just very fascinating to me. Especially with someone who is a former lawyer. You should know how interrogations go, how questionings go. You should know what to expect going into it. She had a thick ass binder. Apparently, nothing preparing her for what she was asked about, which is mind blowing to me. And also the fact that we spend millions and millions in taxes each year, and they only have 4 computers available at the DOJ for our congressional members to go and view the files in a small room equivalent to a closet. I think that's fucking absurd. Enterprises, rent-a-car places, like Office Maxes are more equipped to, libraries have more access points than our Department of Justice to access computers. You know what I mean? And to sit. It's just mind blowing to me. So I say that because, like I was saying, this week has just been kind of flooding my like I said, my feed, and just been on my mind. And I really think eventually I am probably either going to start another channel. I may or may not have already done so, at least created one with a name. um, no other work has gone into it. Just to talk about shit that's going on in the real world and not have to clog the wrestling feed. I have been debating on it though, because I didn't know if I wanted to just kind of convert this channel into not like a free for all, but just something that covers like a variety of things, really. Um, so I don't know. I'm still thinking about that and still trying to figure out what I want to do. So yeah, TBD on that, but that is why I haven't really been on here much, because I've just been kind of occupied and just really kind of conflicted as a human. Because, and another reason, like, I didn't watch any wrestling live this week. It just didn't seem as important, you know? And I almost felt kind of guilty, like watching something and just like getting some enjoyment out of whatever, and when all this other shit is going on. You know what I mean? So I don't know. My mind and my attention has just been elsewhere. So that's just kind of a little behind the scenes. And welcome to my TED Talk, and thank you for joining. So yeah, it's kind of like a long story long of what's going on. What up, Maria? What up, girl? Yes, I know. I appreciate that, man. You say we know what's happening in the USA as a small minority. It's not all of you. It's just not. I mean, embarrassing seems to be like kind of like not selfish, but just I don't know. But it is embarrassing for so many reasons. It's like how far we've fallen in just 10 years, really. And I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, it sucks when you see other countries and other people being held accountable for things and how they don't act, and then you see us. It's just fucking like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And yeah, happy Valentine's Day to everyone from yesterday. And what up, E? Yeah, dude, he said no one's gonna admit nothing until they dragged in front of a court. That's because Pam is part of the cover. Even she went to the island. Yeah, and then you said it's only half of the list that's been released. Yeah, dude. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the I mean I'm sure you have the Savannah and Nancy Guthrie, well specifically Savannah Guthrie, or I'm sorry, Nancy Guthrie, who has been kidnapped, an 84-year-old woman, the mother to I think the Today Show, because I don't watch any of that shit. I think this is the Today Show. Anchor Savannah Guthrie. Her mother was kidnapped. I don't know what day we're on now, like 12, maybe day 12. From her home. Like it's that itself is another shit show. The lack of like just the lack of crime scene awareness, and this is coming from someone who has never been trained, who has been self-trained via YouTube and documentaries, right? But to me, like crime scene 101 and like detective 101, police officer 101 is you secure the crime scene, right? You mark it off. And I believe they did to start off with. And then they took down the barriers pretty much, you're good to go there. And then they put it back up because they realized they needed more evidence from there. And then all these reporters were showing up. This one dude, I think his handle is JLR Investigates on YouTube. He has apparently been there doing a whole bunch of live streams. And he had apparently one of his viewers had sent in or sent him a pizza delivery from Domino's. And the delivery driver was able to walk pretty much all the way up to the house. Like, what? And that was when police officers and like, authorities were there. And it's like, what? So I say that because Savannah, I don't remember how long ago, maybe 5, 6, whatever, how many years ago now, did an interview with a lot of the Epstein survivors. And the timeline for the files dropping and Nancy going missing, people are trying to or correlating that together and just digging into that, which I still haven't done too much research on or watched, viewed too much on that. But it's just at this point, man, nothing. I don't know if nothing surprises me, but it's just like I wouldn't 100% rule it out. You know what I mean? And yes, Fernando, fuck ice 100%, dude. 1000%. And yeah, rest in peace to the actor from Dawson's Creek and Varsity Blues, you say? Fuck, what's his name? Oh my gosh. James? What's the dude's name? But yeah, he had, I think it was like colon cancer, they said. I'm gonna pull this guy up. Yeah, James Vanderbeek, yeah. I was looking at his Twitter here. Sorry for the silence, guys. Yeah, James Vanderbeek. I thought that was his name. I just didn't want to obviously misspeak, but what did he? I think it was. Yeah. Yeah, so it was colon cancer. I was like 99% certain that's what it was. And people out there bitching that people have started a GoFundMe for him, even though he had like millions of dollars or whatever. Like, yeah, I get it. I don't know. You don't have to donate, you know? Like, you can see something and continue to scroll without feeling the need to be upset about something not related to you. But I don't know how old you guys are here in the chat. But I know the majority of my people here are men. And it doesn't even matter, but especially if you're over the age of 45, like 40, 45, 50, go get checked. Every part of your body, go get checked. I don't know why men feel so weird about getting certain areas on themselves checked. Like, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not like you're being live streamed. It's not like everyone's watching you in there. Like, first, you don't even need to tell anyone that you're doing it. Like, it's your private business. Like, you don't need to announce to your best friends, anyone, like, oh, I'm gonna go get like screened for colon cancer. Like, no, like, just fucking do it. Like, I just never understood that. And this is coming from someone because my grandpa, he was one of those people. Like, he was a Marine, never went to the doctors, ever went to the doctors. Now, granted, he didn't really have too many issues until the latter half, but and that was probably the last 5 years of his life, I would say, is when things really started as like just almost came out of nowhere and then just kind of went downhill. Well, did go downhill. Um, but yeah, like I don't know if regular screening for him, and he didn't have colon cancer. I don't know if regular screening for him would have changed anything in his journey. But if you guys are able to sit here and chat with me about wrestling and stuff, then you have some time in your day, man. Schedule an appointment. You know what I mean? Schedule an appointment. Go get your shit looked at. You don't need to tell anyone. Just look out for yourself. You know what I mean? We're all gonna die, obviously, and we still may be taken out by whatever. But wouldn't you want to know in advance to try to, you know, enjoy as much life as we can? Even though there's a lot of shitty things happening, we are still, again, the fact that we are able to sit here, talk about not even wrestling at this point, but to just sit here and talk on YouTube is a blessing and in a lot of ways a privilege, you know what I mean? So maybe pun intended, go get y'all shit checked out. And that's my other soapbox moment for the day. Hey, Sai, you said one of the best streams you did was the Karen Reed one, just saying. I still think about that stream, dude. For one reason, I think that was the one that was on mute for like 12, 13 minutes. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that one just because it's just fun, man. I have so many different interests, and like the older I get, the more passionate I've become about not random, but things I would have never, not gonna say cared about, but just never really would have invested time in. So yeah, it's just crazy how you change when you get older, right? And yes, dude, this was gonna be something else I brought up on the side. Cain Velasquez has been released for assault on the dude who messed with his kid. And again, his whole wrestling WWE run was a complete just joke, but shout out to Cain Velasquez because that's a man's man right there. Fernando, you said you had to meet your daughter's boyfriend last night. I was going to do Scary Dad, but I took it easy on the youngster. Dude, you're a dad? That's crazy. Aw. Well, good. Good for you, man. Don't be that scary dad. Because you're lucky you got to meet the boyfriend. Yeah, Maria, it might actually soon become a thing. You say crime time talk with Ash, yeah. What would you guys prefer? Actually, because it's important enough to me, I'm gonna start a poll really quick because I really want to know what you guys have to say and what you guys think because this is about you guys too. This is our channel. So 1 second. All right. All right, cool. Got that created. All right, so just threw a poll in the chat. So, it's stemming off of what I was just blabbering about. If you want me to, and what would you prefer? Would you prefer me creating a new, which I may or may not have already done, a new channel completely to have that be pretty much everything non-wrestling, and then keep this channel, the Kick Ass Podcast channel, strictly about wrestling? Or do you guys prefer kind of like an all-in-one? Do you want to just go to one destination for all of us to talk about shit? Or are you just not going to be interested in that at all? Which obviously I totally understand because I just do. But yeah, so gonna leave that up there and remind me to check before we jump off here. What up, Grandmaster? What up? What up? Hey, Sai, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Faxy. You said make sure you go to a real doctor to get your prostate checked, not some mathematician with a doctorate. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Exactly. What up, Lammy? What up? What up? Maria, you said, are you going to Mania live in Vegas? I am not. I have funny feelings about Vegas, so I am not. Vegas, to be honest with you, just feels like a grimy place. No disrespect to anyone who lives there or whatever. And I'm being judgmental, but I'm not really into gambling. I'm not really into the social life. I'm not really into the hooting and hollering out there. I'm just not about the nightlife. You know what I mean? I feel like I would probably end up in a situation, like in a bad situation, because I just expect the worst. And to be honest with you guys, it kind of stresses me out how much electricity that generates and is used in just Vegas alone. Sometimes when I'm driving, inside on how my brain works. Sometimes when I'm driving home at night and I see businesses that are, shut down for the evening, and it's like 11 or 12 driving home from my part time and the lights are still on, and I'm like, why do you have the lights on? And I get it, for security cameras and all that stuff because night vision isn't that great, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I will not be at Vegas, but I heard Psy potentially could be at Vegas, so there's that. Nah, tempting, tempting, but I think I'm gonna avoid the bunny ranch for now. Grandmaster, you said, Ash, you should work as a court reporter. I think that's your perfect job. Wow. Interesting. That's actually really interesting. Kind of stemming off of that and what Sai said earlier about Karen Reed. There's this dude named Turtle Boy, and Sai, I think you aren't a fan of Turtle Boy. But he is people call him a blogger, a journalist, but I think he's a journalist, but he is the one who really opened a lot of eyes and ears to some shit that was going on in the Karen Reed journey. We'll say at the beginning, before the first trial happened, he uncovered and just brought a lot of attention to a certain Google search and all this stuff. But I found what he did between that and what this kid, and again, he's apparently on the right side, but I don't care. Like it is what it is. I just say that because some people may not like him because of that. But this dude, Nick Shirley, he apparently he's like one of those YouTubers that go around the world and just like make random videos like discovering like fraud, just doing like random stuff. But this one is what he did specifically for Minneapolis, like Minnesota area. Discovered a whole bunch of fraud going on, supposedly, allegedly, right? But between that and like the whole Turtle Boy thing, I'm just like, man, like I just really like I don't know. I want to do more like for my community, and I don't really know what that means. I just want to do more, just do something important. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was saying earlier when I was referencing like not really watching too much wrestling live this week, because I was watching other stuff and listening to other stuff and whatever. Not that wrestling isn't important, right? But man, like in the grand scheme of things, and when you look at certain paper trails and who is funding what, um, just makes you feel kind of weird. You know what I mean? But you saying a court reporter, that's fucking like really interesting, dude. So thank you for that. Sigh, dude. You said ever since you said that tweet, man. Like man, we were on the way to the state fair yesterday, and on the drive there because it was in Tampa, it's about an hour, half hour, 45-minute drive. I was really thinking about the logistics, looking into ticket prices, all that stuff. So you piqued my interest there, my friend. And yeah, so Grandmaster, you that's why I said, what I said about him, because I have now heard that as well, that he could be like a Fed plant or whatever. Um yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't know who or what to believe anymore, which is part of like or one of the holes that I've gone. That sounds disgusting, but one of the rabbit holes I'll specify that I've been going down lately. Um but yeah, guys. So hold on. I think E said all right, or I'm sorry, Fernando, you said all in one stream, two channels can be tricky. I have heard. Yeah, and obviously, like I'm still growing this channel here. You guys know, like I'm not. My mission isn't to make this my job or like make money off of this or anything like that, which is why I don't do more and promote more or whatever. But I do care obviously about this, but I don't want to. My fear was if I create two channels, then um my attention may not be solely, or I may like divert my attention. But then too, like I am one of those people as well who if I want to go and escape from something, I just want to escape from it. I don't want to have to scroll down a video list and be like, okay, well, I want to listen to this topic, but I don't want to listen to this. You know what I mean? So just kind of figuring it out. Dude, yeah. So you said the Kick-Ass World Tour is calling, be a part of the infamous European crowds. Yeah, dude. And the Tube, I want to experience the Tube. I hear that could be a shit show though, so I would need you. But I was saying, um, when I was talking about it yesterday, I was like, it actually there's a lot of pros because I would take advantage of Sai being my tour guide and helping me through the Tube and all that shit because New York was not stressful for me because for whatever reason, traveling me is so much less stressed out than normal me. Like I don't know. Like I rarely get lost when I'm traveling. Like I don't know, I just have the complete opposite luck when I'm traveling than in my everyday life. Which is I don't understand that. I'm sure there's a study somewhere for it. But um the other plus about going to the UK, we all speak English. I mean, you guys are more sophisticated than us and me, but yeah, at least I like won't need a translator. You know what I mean? I mean, certain words like I think you guys call it like a pint, right? Or is that Ireland? I think you guys call it a pint, right? In the UK, you lads and mates and all that. Yeah. So, dude, I'm really gonna be looking into that. Seriously. Oh, guys, I appreciate you all, man. It's been almost 47 minutes, 48 minutes of nothing wrestling related. So you guys are awesome. Fernando, you said MAGA had their own halftime show with Kid Rock, so lame. Dude, and that shit was not bro. Fucking trash. Fucking trash. Oh man. Oh, Grandmaster said in regards to Nick Shirley, his mom holds the camera and his dad edits his videos, and they are employed by Homeland Security. Yeah, in one of the videos when he went to the border, or yeah, in the video he went to the border, but in a separate video when he was talking about that, he had mentioned like yeah, like his parents didn't know. He went like they didn't know where he was until he came back and like he was fixing the video and shit. And I mean he's like 20 or 21 or something, so it's not like he's a minor obviously, so he can do what he pleases. But with how close knit his family is, and like you said, his mom is literally like his camera person, and she's been on, he has her doing like some of the ad reads with him too. It's just like, bro, like there's no way your parents didn't know you're going to the fucking border, dude. Come on. Yeah. Oh, you said Turning Point USA ain't funded through MAGA. It's Charlie Kirk company. Dude, I the whole Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk assassination, Erica Kirk of it all. Y'all, if y'all think I have some opinions about wrestling, bro, and you like you want to talk about rabbit holes that I've been down, bonkers with this. Because to be completely transparent with you guys, I had never even heard the name of Charlie Kirk before he was assassinated. Never, never heard of the dude. And I don't know why, but something just hooked me with it. And really, honestly, that's kind of what started my digging through different political commentators, parties, like all that shit. Not to mention, was it actually Tyler Robinson who shot him? Was it an inside job? Was it the government? Was it Israel? Like all this shit, dude. All this shit. And it's just, I don't know, dude. I do have I do know. I do have some thoughts, but I just man, you wanna get me on a tangent? Yeah. Sai, you said lads, pints and mates are practically here already. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, you know, may or may not have been doing a little research so far, so yeah. Oops. Yeah, Fernando. Um so I'll say disclaimer. I uh do not agree from or do not agree with probably 98 or 99% of this shit that I have gone back and watched from Charlie Kirk. Maybe 98%. Um, and the classification of people or just like the non-real awareness of privilege that he as a white man had, and just white people in general, dude. And I have personal stories myself of where I've been in a situation or situations where I know I got out of it because I am just this innocent looking little white girl, just doing whatever, you know what I mean? And if I was someone else, I know it would not have gone so smoothly, or I would have been searched, I would have this, that, and the third, like so to go out there and say like, to try to tell like African American people how to feel, or that they don't experience oh my gosh, that they don't like any prejudice or anything like that. And I think he said something about he wouldn't feel comfortable like if he walked onto a plane and there was like a black pilot or something like that. Um and like the whole DEI thing, like it's just dude, yeah, 100%, like all that shit is trash. And it's degrading to a human being. Like the color of their skin doesn't dictate shit to me. You know what I mean? Like I used to say, and to be honest with you guys, because this is apparently about everything but wrestling. I used to, gosh, when I was like 17, 18, 19, 20, like probably like between like the 17 to 22, 23 age range, I would say stuff like, "Oh, like I don't see color," and like like our like just like stuff like that was like pretty much like I don't see color, and I thought that was like not like a cool thing to say, but like a good thing to say, and like to kind of like make people know that like I like we're just all humans, and like I'm not gonna judge you type thing. But we should see color, you know what I mean, and we should be cognizant of people who are different than us in the sense that they have experienced a different life than we have. Like I've said, like I could tell y'all a whole bunch of shit where I mean nothing too heavy, but like a whole bunch, well, a handful of times where I could have had a very different outcome, and I looking back on it, I'm like, dude, I got very lucky. And it's probably because I'm just again this white little innocent girl just going to just wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? And so when I see people like Charlie Kirk and others who are white and going out there and speaking about shit that like you have no place to speak on. Like I don't understand, and I don't know the difficulties of everyday life and like the stares and the looks and the judgment that other people get. So I'm not gonna sit there and just say it's not true. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. But you're 100% right, Fernando. And yeah, and so bridging on to the other point of that though, you said a lot. Well, the first part was to Fernando, but you said a lot of people say mess up stuff. But what did Kirk actually do wrong? He may not have been comfortable with a black pilot, but dude did do charity that helped people of all colors. And again, I need to look into that. I've been more so on the like assassination journey of like what the fuck is going on and who funded it and who was where on what days and stuff like that. Um, but all I like at the end of the day, y'all, like I don't think he deserved to die though. I don't think that he deserved to be taken out like that. That like I don't think that someone now again, is he going out there and saying I don't know if heavy, but stuff that I don't agree with, and I kind of, and not even kind of, but I view as disrespectful and maybe not his place. Sure, but that's his opinion. That's his, that's his right that we have here in America to go out there and express his opinion. And I will say the one thing I did respect is that he allowed and set up his whole thing was debating. I just we need more of that healthy discussion and healthy debate. Now, was his mind truly open to be changed? I'm not sure. There were signs that he was changing certain opinions on certain things towards the end of his life and right before he got killed. But um, I don't know. I don't know. I just I just I still look at the human, man. Like, and that circles back to what I was blabbering about earlier, with the whole morality thing and just like where we are as a country, but as just citizens of the world. It's just we just shouldn't feel okay with taking a father out like that. You know what I mean? Like his two little kids are innocent and they lost their dad because well, we don't know the true reason yet, but yeah, but for potentially if the state is to be believed because Tyler Robinson had a different opinion and had a trans boyfriend or something, and I think they were together. Yeah, because of the text messages. And he was just over it and went out there and took matters into his own hands. I don't agree with probably all the things Charlie said about the LGBTQ community people of color, even women. Like women are not to be home and just homebodies. Like no, and it's actually quite ironic now that since he's no longer here, his wife is now the CEO, running things out, doing everything. So that's just very interesting to me. Um, but again, this isn't the platform for that, so I apologize, guys. But yeah. Yeah, and Fernando, thank you for tying it into wrestling, dude. You're great. So you said Charlie Kirk said racist things in the past. That's what he said wrong. That's that's what he said wrong. Google it. It's all right there. He is not innocent or anything. And then you said Vince McMahon gave to charity, and Lance Armstrong also raised a lot of money for cancer. We don't pretend they were good people. Yeah, dude, and the whole Vince McMahon of it all really fucking makes me feel disgusting too. To be completely honest with you guys, I mean, granted, he's no longer in wrestling now, but just to think of all the shit that was going on and some of like the hot, like our best memories of wrestling and time periods of wrestling, just to think of all the shit that was going on behind the scenes. And I don't know if you guys have heard or know of, allegedly, what happened with Ashley Massaro back on a trip to, I think it was either like one of the, well, obviously it was like one of the tribute to the troops tours that they do when they were still going like out of the country. They, at the latter portion of that, I don't even think they still do those anymore that I'm thinking about it. But the last few years, at least that I remember, they would do just like not tribute shows, but like, I guess like a tribute show in like Texas or near like a fort branch. But now, or before rather, they would go overseas to Iraq and those places. But apparently, Ashley Massaro, I don't know all the details. I forget because it's been a minute since I read it, but she experienced a certain situation on the plane, and yeah. So just, and that's what I'm saying. Like everything is just like, fuck, what can I enjoy anymore? You know what I mean? You just get to a point where it's like everything is fucking corrupt and everything is tied into everything, and it's just like, bro, like, what can we enjoy nowadays? So an hour of our lives has gone into everything about wrestling. So I apologize for that, guys. But sometimes I feel like we all just kind of need to talk about some shit. But yeah. Yeah. He said if Charlie said stuff in the past that don't mean he still felt that in the end he could have had a change of heart. People do get reformed. Charlie Kirk saying racist stuff isn't as bad as pedos running the government. 10,000%, dude. 10,000%. And again, but one shouldn't justify or downplay or excuse the other. Bad is bad and bad is bad. You know what I mean? To me, it's two different things. Well, obviously, it's two different things, but two different levels. Words are hurtful, obviously, and your opinion and your judgment on people can say a lot about you as a human being. But I mean, it's fucking next level if you're out there touching children and trafficking children and doing it like just things to women that you like. I don't even know the sickest like Hollywood screenwriter would ever come up with. It's just like seeing some of that stuff in like like I don't want to keep getting into it, but it's just like how do we like overlook stuff like that, and how do we just continue to go on with our day? I mean, these fuckers are making millions still. Lex Wessner, whatever the dude's name is, the owner of Victoria's Secret, out there living his best life still. And he has been officially listed as one of the co-conspirators, or he was, and then he was redacted, and then he was added back on. But I think they said he has a 26,000 square foot home and still making stupid money. Stupid money. And if you really look into that backstory, he is one of the key guys who really got Jeffrey up and running. Gave him the mansion in New York, which was like 16 million, whatever. Granted him power of attorney. I don't know about you guys. I have enough trust issues, but the last thing I would do would grant power of attorney to someone who I'm not gonna say isn't in my family, because family is a relative term, maybe pun related, but because I have like my best friend is closer to me than like my family, you know what I mean? But to trust someone that I don't really know it with power of attorney, you probably have something over my head, or you're probably helping me out with a lot of shit. Aw, sigh. I appreciate you, my friend. You're the best. You said never lose your joy. You have an authentic voice on a number of topics, and we love hearing it. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do, man. But yeah, so I will switch over into wrestling now, and I'll try to remember to put in a timestamp of in the notes when we wrap up here, when the actual wrestling chat starts. But yeah, so the actual topic at hand today. Move some shit around. Oops, I don't want to take that out. Is we'll talk about Stone Cold because he'll be a little bit quicker than the ticket thing. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, guys. We all, if you think back to WrestleMania 40, when the marathon match of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns was going on, I was blessed to be there for that. They put on one of the standard like Roman Reigns matches, but it was just so well done. And I don't know if it's one of those things where it's just like recency bias or whatever, but it's still a memorable match, and I thought maybe I'm just personally biased, right? Um, but there's been some shit floating around on Twitter lately. I think they released like a director's cut edit of like the last 5 minutes of the match, and just going back and rewatching it, I was like, man, like it was so a lot of interference, right? But just so well done, and the interference actually. It was a story, right? That we all, it was weaving through with Cena coming out, Seth coming out as the Shield, and then Undertaker coming out. But everyone said, man, that Undertaker spot when the dong hit should have been the glass breaking. And looking back on it, and when I was watching it earlier, that clip, I like when The Rock was standing in the ring, you knew that moment was about to come, and the dong hits. It's like people lost their mind. And I lost my mind too, right, when I was there. But looking back on it, it's like, yo, that should have been the glass breaking. And we really, man, what a moment. What a fucking moment. But not WWE's fault. No one's fault but the man himself, Stone Cold. He had other shit to do, apparently. So he was not able to be there for it, which still, I still think it would have been such a cool full circle moment to kind of close. Not that, I mean, it's already closed, but to kind of reclose the old chapter, I guess, the old book, if you want to call it, of like that generation with Austin, Rock, Undertaker, but just with the rivalry that The Rock and Austin had. And the fact, I always thought it was so cool how it went from 15, 17, 19, their WrestleMania matches. It's just really cool. And each one, if you look at it, it's just 3 completely different chapters of their career. And yeah, it's just really fascinating to go back. And I still think WrestleMania 19 is one of the most underrated WrestleManias, and one of the most, not controversial WrestleManias, but just one that had a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, it was a good WrestleMania, in my opinion. But I say that because I was about to dive back into y'all's chats. I love talking with you guys. But the point of that is, like I said, Austin said he has shit to do. So he wasn't able to make it to 40, so fine. Now with WrestleMania 42 being in Vegas, I think he has a home in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously he has one in Texas. I think they said he has one in either Utah or I don't know. He has a few homes in that like immediate area or surrounding area rather. So they're bringing him in for the access part of WrestleMania anyway, right? They're for the meet and greet and all that shit. So he's obviously going to be in the area, going to be free. I would assume, right? He would be free for WrestleMania. I don't know if it'd be night 1 or night 2, but I was like, where? Okay, cool. He'll be in Vegas. Right on. Where does he really fit in though? And I know it's crazy to say about Austin, and you don't need him to fit in anywhere. You can just have him, literally just have him come out, make a great appearance, just go out there and just have some beers. He doesn't even need to say anything. Just drive out there on his ATV, almost kill a few people on the way down there, grab some beers, hit the 4 corners, and that's it. Leave a beer in the middle of the ring, drive his ATV back up, we move on with the night. People lose their mind though. He can just do something like that. When I looked at the card, because I really don't think he's gonna have a match. And I say that, knowing he had one with Kevin Owens, but I just don't think that he would be. I just don't think that this year is kind of set up that way. WWE would love it though, because leading into the ticket prices and the ticket sales, which we'll get into, I just don't see what he would do on the card. Now, you do have a guy who has been, was clamoring for a match way back when against Austin. And back in the day, it would have been the perfect dynamic. Literally wrote itself. You have the beer drinking, hell raising guy going out there, not giving a shit. But, because remember during like the what, like he would always, I'm going to have one beer, what, 2 years, what? And then like, he was like, and then I'm going to have a shot of Jack Daniels, what? And then like go through all the liquors and stuff. And then you have CM Punk, who is the opposite of that, who is straight edge. I think he's only taken one shot, and that was with Harley Race, I think. And like a show of respect to him. I think that's what I remember hearing. Not 100%, but fuck it. Y'all know CM Punk shit is, whatever. That story wrote itself back in the day, right? The only issue now is, yeah, Punk is still that guy. Austin is still that guy. It just doesn't pack as much of a punch. Now, I would still love to see the match, but my thought is, what is going to be the real, like the story behind it? Are we too far past that dream matchup, right? Is it better just to keep it as a dream than to actually see it come to fruition? I think so. I think so for those two pairings, or for that pairing rather. I just don't know what we would do story-wise. So to get there, and again, you don't even need it really. You can just you can just have it be Stone Cold and CM Punk, and that sells itself. I'm not saying, I'm not an idiot, but to really like milk it, what would you do story-wise leading into it? Would you just have Punk out there, kind of like what Owens did every week, going out there on Raw and just talking shit and like building the story himself? And like whether Stone Cold is there or not, like what is Punk talking about? Like, besides, I've always wanted to test myself against the best, blah blah blah, or like, I don't know. So again, I'm not gonna say I would love to see it, but I think it'd be cool to see. I'm not out here clamoring for it. But if they switched to it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like I would be very intrigued to see it. But I don't know. So Fightful, specifically Sean Ross Sapp, shout out to Sean. And this report is written up by Sportskeeda. So shout out to sportskeeda.com. they posted an update on Austin returning to WrestleMania. And this was like 20 minutes before I started, so like 2 hours ago. They said there's been an update about Stone Cold Steve Austin potentially appearing at WWE WrestleMania 42. The show of shows will air live from Allegiant Stadium for the second year in a row in April. Sean Ross Sapp responded to a question on the latest edition of Fightful Select Answers Q&A, wondering if the match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns has cooled down the chance that the Rattlesnake will be appearing at WrestleMania 42. Sapp pointed out that the World Heavyweight Championship match between Punk and Reigns lessened Austin's chance of competing at the event. He noted Austin's age gap and that the legend would not be able to perform forever. Sapp stated that if CM Punk were to go in quote-unquote dream match mode after this year's WrestleMania, a bout with Stone Cold Steve Austin may still be on the table in the future. So, yeah. I don't see it this year happening. Potentially next year, though. He still looked great in that match with Owens. You can do something like that. It doesn't have to be a technical match, right? It's not like Austin was out there the best technical wrestler anyway. So back in his day. Nick, you said, what do you think of The Undertaker having his old co-host Matt take down all the podcasts? I don't know about that. Why? What happened? Thanks for the timestamps, Sai. Blammy, you said TKO made Undertaker do that for sure. Should have been Austin. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And Maria, you said the Taker spot made no sense. And yeah, I mean, Undertaker and Rock had like a little bit of history together, but definitely not Austin and Rock, right? But again, that wasn't WWE's fault, to be fair. So they wanted to put as much like big name value in that spot as possible, so they did what they could. What up, Muhammad? What up, dude? I'm just reading y'all's comments. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay. You said Matt started his own channel and it's uploading the old episodes there. It's called When Wrestling Was Real with Matt Lyda. Oh, I never even listened to Undertaker's show, to be honest with you, so I did not know that was happening. I'm pulling up. I don't see. Oh, that's from last year. I was on WrestleTix page to see if they when their latest update on the ticket prices were for WrestleMania this year. Or not ticket prices, tickets sold. I think Grandmaster, what I'll do, you said 35,000 on night 1 and 35 on night 2. I wanted to see if they had like an exact number. Oh yeah, here we go. Cool. So as of as of February 12th, so 3 days ago, Wrestlemania Saturday has 37,799 tickets distributed. There's 5,042 tickets available and 575 combo tickets available. The setup is 43,416. For WrestleMania Night 1 last year, they had 60,151. So a pretty substantial drop. However, the same arena is set up for obviously less, right? So last year, if they were able to sell 60,151 for night 1, they had a higher or a larger space and a larger setup available. Right now, they're only set up for 43,416. So they can use that excuse for, or not excuse, but that as a cover, for the, we'll call it 17,000 drop from last year to this year in tickets for night 1. But I mean, if it's not available, you can't sell it, right? And for night 2, it's kind of crazy. It's like almost the same exact number. They have 37,654 tickets distributed for night 2. They have same setup, 43,416 available tickets, 5,187 with 575 combo tickets available. WrestleMania Night 2 last year, again, same area, 61,389. Interesting. So, people have been bitching about the ticket prices, right? And I just didn't, to be honest with you guys, I just didn't even go and look because, like I said, I wasn't planning on, or I had really no interest in checking the prices because I wasn't going. But from some screenshots that I've seen, ticket prices have dropped dramatically, and I, to be fair, was actually quite surprised at how cheap some of them are. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm here. All right, cool. I'm going to hide y'all's comments here on the screen for a second. All right, so this is for night 2 of WrestleMania. I like this version of the map because I like to be able to see exactly where it is. So sorry in advance if you guys don't. Moving this screen around. But the offer that they're running this year, let me go back. Hold on, I'm on their screen. Allegiant Stadium sent out a tweet on February 13th, so Friday, stating that WrestleMania 42 tickets will be 25% off starting today until next Monday. I was like, wow, okay. just looking at some people. Some people are funny. But yeah, I was like, wow, okay, that's a pretty decent discount, right? So I logged on to Ticketmaster here, and I was just curious, right? One ticket is the filter. And let's see if I wanted to get pretty close to the ring, right? We'll go with like a ramp seat first. Not exactly at the end, which is where I would want to be, but closest to the end, right? Right there. Where'd it go? So for that seat right here, it's $1,212.70 with their holiday weekend offer. That includes the $267.20 service fee. And let's see what they say about that. Service fees help cover the costs of putting on the event. They are shared between various parties involved in organizing the event and may include a profit to them. Help putting on the event. What is Ticketmaster helping WWE with? Besides selling the tickets, but how are you helping them put on the event? By selling the tickets? Okay. By creating a platform for them? Okay. And then obviously that's the portion that WWE is getting. Cool. But to be fair, I have seen way worse in that area. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what else is going on. I don't know why it won't release, but whatever. So then I was like, well, what if I don't want to be on the ramp? What if I want to be closer to the ring? So I was like, let me go. The closest is right here. That seat right there is $3,376.55. Now, that is still fucking crazy. I myself would not pay $3,500, we'll call it, for one ticket. I can't. I would have more, you know, I'd be more open to discuss if we are talking a package, some type of where it's for night 1 and night 2. Maybe some souvenirs are involved in that shit. I get to take on my chairs from both nights, all that shit, right? And to be fair, like in these areas right here, I'm pretty certain these are the A areas also. All these people get to take on their chair. So that's dope. Some people don't care about that, but if I'm paying fucking shit ton of money, I want everything that I can get out of it. Oh, there's the X. So yeah, I'm like, damn, like that's a lot. But dude, like when you look at other prices for things, like the fucking Super Bowl ticket prices, outrageous. But if you're like, well, what if you don't want to be that close to the ring? What if you're good with sitting in like an elevated area? Because to be honest with you guys, my experience from WrestleMania 35, these areas down here on the floor, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. But these areas right here, yeah, I think you can. In this back portion, pretty much anywhere on the floor, especially for WrestleMania, where you are not within like the first 3 rows, I would say, it's trash. You are not going to be able to see. You're going to have every tall dude and their taller brother standing in front of you. You're going to have these big poles that they create to make the cover for the ring and the lights and everything. Not to mention the lighting. That shit's fucking blinding you. So I would recommend going to one of these back areas. Let me scroll out a bit. I know it sounds crazy because the farther away from the ring you are, is like, you know, like why even be there at this point? But these areas right here, and again, I've never been to this stadium in particular, but at least from WrestleMania 35, my ticket was, I was probably in like equivalent of like one of like this area right here. And it was great. Like I had a great view. Besides the one fucking light that they didn't want to turn off and we missed the whole Randy Orton AJ Styles match. But then I was like, okay, cool. So let me see how much these tickets are. That one is $1,212.70, and you get no chair. He's like, okay, well, shit, let me not do that. Let me maybe scoot over a bit. $683.65. It's insane. You scoot over one section, and bam, half off. But again, you have to be mindful because in these corners, you have these poles. So if you're spending that much money, do not sit in one of the corner areas. Just kind of look out. Which is probably why you notice all the section right here and the section right here are all sold out. And the areas, well, I mean, the area back here, I'm kind of surprised isn't. But if you want to go closer to the stage area, rather, still kind of pushed back a bit, you're still looking at $1,200. I would go for the end seat, so $1,251. Now, look at this difference, y'all. Fucking crazy. So if you scoot over one section over, and again, to be fair though, at this point, if you're in this section, you're not as level with the stage, but you're not going to be able to see any of the screens that are on the stage. You're going to be able to see the talent when they're right here, but it's just not that great of a view, to be honest with you. But that ticket is only $443.20. So, again, this is still crazy expensive. And this is with the discount, the 25% discount for the holiday weekend offer. After, I don't know if they said midnight tomorrow night on the 16th, the sale's over, the 25% sale. So if you guys have been on the fence about buying it or you're planning on buying it, but you're just waiting a little bit closer, I would say probably buy it now. I don't know if they're going to have another offer, obviously, but they seem to be wanting to push ticket sales. And then look, now this is what I was saying. Some of them aren't that bad. So when you get back here in this area, you have tickets for like $300 if you want nosebleed seats. Let's see. Why isn't it popping up? Oh, it's still $250. That's crazy. Let's see what the actual nosebleed seat would be. Again, I would want the end. Okay, so still, the obviously not the cheapest. The cheapest is $175, but one of the cheapest ones in a kind of okay area. I mean, at least direction is $228.35. Now that does include the fee, so I think that should be your final price. But look how far away from the ring you are, dude. You're right here. The ring's all the way over here. At that point, just fucking stay home. I want to see that 175 though one though. Oh, they have cheaper for 164.20. Seat 345, row 2. All the way over here. Oh no. Who is this guy over here? This poor guy. Oh yeah, that's it. So that's the 342 section 15. All the way over there for 165. I mean, that's not when you're talking nosebleed, I mean, I guess that's not that bad. Oh, my Rumble overlay. That's not that bad, but bro, at that point you're paying to watch the screen. I mean, there is something to be said for just being there and being in that environment. But to be honest with you, the build up for this year has not warranted it, in my opinion. The only match I'm like really pumped to see is Punk and Roman. And I know we still have plenty of time for the build. We're still setting up stuff, so I get that. But yeah, man, they're gonna have to really put in work this year and lower the ticket prices even more. And what someone had said earlier about them, they're doing some band where you can't watch or you can't stream the WrestleMania PLE within like a certain mile radius of the stadium, which is just disgusting. But yeah, gonna go through your chat here really quick, and then we will wrap it up. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. Dude, Fernando, I don't know, man. He said, Ash, where is Stephanie Chase? She like dropped from the face of the earth. I have no idea, dude. I actually thought about her the other day, wondering the same thing. I have no idea. I hope she's good. I know she was like moving a lot or like going through like some moves. The last or like one of the last few shows she had did. But dude, I don't know. I hope she's good though. And Grandmaster said the Iconics are elite. Yeah, dude. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought they'd be going back to WWE, but good for them. Well, yeah, Grandmaster. I know the venue doesn't get smaller from last year. Obviously, it's the setup that they have, and they do that all the time. They start off with a smaller amount of seats, um, available to then open it up later and be like, oh, due to demand, we opened up more, we cleared out more sections, guys. I know they always that's like the trick of the trade. They always start off with less seats than before. My point was that they already are like not even on track to maybe not on track because I don't know where they were at this time last year, but it's just not looking good, dude. It's not looking to be as well attended as last year. And I think them being in the same area really played a factor into that as well. But yeah, like I expect them to open up more seatings. I was just surprised that they only started off with what did I say, like 43,000. It was that to me was just like a big difference. I didn't think that they started off with that big of a difference. But yeah, I guess like 15,000 seats is like a wiggle you want to call it like a wiggle room stage setup wise to mess with. But yeah, they've always done that shit. Like AEW does that like AEW is famous for that shit. Like they well maybe not as much recently, but I remember it was like almost like a joke. It was like just wait until a little bit closer and then they're gonna open up more seating and then you can get like a closer seat for like a good deal too. So yeah, that's just the trick of the trade. But it's a good excuse too for the big drop. Like, oh, we only have 43,000 available, not the 60 or whatever it was last year. You said if they keep giving discounts to tickets, I'll buy the cheapest ticket and walk to Vegas. Where are you at, dude? Where you stay at? Mm-hmm. Fucking facts, E. Very true, Sai. Very true. Okay. Apparently, in Canada tomorrow, they're selling Mania tickets at 50% off for selected tickets and for Canada's Family Day holiday. All right, so any Canadian folk out there? Yeah, a press box. Can you imagine? That'd be sick. Thank you, Si. I'm about to pull up the poll here in a second. You said Ash should be interviewing for a commentary job or like a reporter like Kathy Kelly or Jackie. And Jackie, I appreciate that, dude. And speak of the poll, I'm gonna pull that back up here before we wrap up. Dang, okay, cool. All right, so we got create a separate channel, 64%, all on one, 36%.
We spend a lot of time
the audio
building
off.
our lives.
All right, cool. So good thing second channel is already created. So I will share that with you guys probably within the next week or so. No, that we kind of threw that out there, engaged everyone's thoughts. I don't know. I already, like I said, I went over it went over it earlier with you guys. I just didn't know if it would be smart to do two different ones or whatever, or try to keep everyone just, some people just like one channel for everything with me, you know? But I was leaning more towards two different channels, two completely different things. So I think I'm kind of right there with you guys. So cool. So TBD on that. Well, not TBD, but well, yeah, TBD on that in regards to when we will do our first stream, when I put that info out there for you guys and all that shit. So yeah, you guys better join over there like y'all have joined me here. But no, seriously though, it's I get a lot of people don't like talking about that or sharing opinions on that because the world is crazy. So I get that and no stress. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me randomly here on this Sunday afternoon and for divulging with me on different topics in the first hour. I really appreciate you guys as always. Stay tuned for the other channel and for happenings going on with that and what we start with. That's kind of like what I was trying to like gauge y'all's thoughts on with like the whole Elizabeth Smart documentary thing and stuff like that. Because I fuck with you guys and I like to know. I think it's cool, like when, for instance, like with wrestling, like podcasters specifically, I always think of like, man, like if it's someone I really, really enjoy, I'm like, man, like I wonder what their thoughts are on this or what they, or like just other stuff that they're interested in and stuff like that. So it can get dicey though, because if we don't agree on certain things, right? Like that's, oh my gosh. But I think we have a good crew here. And obviously, it'll be a different world, different community, different people popping in, but we'll go from there, guys. And wrestling will always be here. I may not watch it live, or I may not be as, I don't want to say invested as I once was, but because I am, and the love is always there. I just feel like we need to kind of branch out and grow a bit too, and to acknowledge things that are truly important in the world too. Because, and of course, everyone out there, right, has to have a YouTube channel, has to be voicing their opinion on something, right? So just throw me in the fucking box now with everyone. So we'll dive into that when the time comes. But guys, thank you again. I truly appreciate you all. Like I said, we will chat soon. Next weekend, I think we should be good. For next weekend. Maria, I have no time slot, girl. I don't know what I'm fucking doing with my life. I do like the afternoon, evening time though, a little bit more. I think, and I was trying to gauge that too because some people prefer the morning time, some people prefer the evening. E is able to function in the evening, so he's able to join us. um, but yeah, I don't know. It's honestly due whenever I pop on. I have said I want to get more consistent with it, but like I said earlier, my thoughts have just kind of like been all over the place and I haven't been watching as much. So I don't want to get on here and just bullshit and like bullshit my thoughts and talk about something that I truly haven't been like, not that I haven't been following it, but something that like I just skipped through. Because that's like, what's the point of doing this then? You know what I mean? But yeah. So with that being said, like I said, a playoff there. That's why I really appreciate you guys just popping in whenever I do this random stuff. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Tomorrow is the start of another week, another work week. So back to the grind. But until next time, stay safe, my friends. Stay safe, please. The world is crazy. But enjoy some time with wrestling and just escape the world. Take care.